Initially, we were sending money through money orders. I don't know how many of the people listening will be knowing that. Taking a demand draft those days, next day we used to get the DD. In some places, they had to bribe also to, there were agents to get the DD. For lifting that ledger, there was one sub-staff who will lift that ledger from the counter, hand it over to the accountant desk. I was feeling it very funny. Then what I did was I just joined both the desks. I still remember how difficult it was to sell one ATM card. We had a drive-in ATM. I still remember one customer not getting money. He was trying to break open the ATM. And he had to pay around 80,000 rupees. I started reading the bankers' journals. Normally, these journals are subscribed in all the branches. And they are used for afternoon lunch and all that stuff. What does a ringmaster do? In circus, the ringmaster actually, he's not hitting the whip on the lion. When the final interview for the KSFE managing director post, chief minister asked me, will you be able to manage people? He told me, I'm not concerned about the business. I'm concerned about managing people.
Hello, and welcome to Banking Reframed. Through conversations with leaders and practitioners, this podcast will explore customer behavior, talent, technology, distribution, and the changing meaning of banking itself. And I'm your host, Sri Kumar Nair. For our very first episode, I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Joshi Paul. Joshi is a seasoned banking leader with deep experience in banking, leadership, customer grievance management, and fintech. He's a veteran of the Indian Air Force, a former managing director of KSFE, and someone who played an important role in India's new generation banking journey through his work across Centurion Bank and HDFC Bank. Today, he is also the founder, director, and COO of a fintech company, a dedicated farmer, and the author of the recently published autobiography, 5 Uniforms. On a personal note, Joshi is also a very close friend and a former colleague of mine from HDFC Bank. So it gives me great pleasure to have him with us today. Joshi, welcome to the show. It's wonderful to have you here.
Sri, good morning. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be on your first debut episode on podcast. Thank you.
So, Joshi, thanks. And before we begin, congratulations on your autobiography. This is for all those people who probably have seen it or not seen it. I'm not so sure. Congratulations on your autobiography. I'm sure many of our listeners will be curious to pick it up once they hear from you today.
Thank you. In fact, I wanted to write this autobiography since long, but that writer's block, it was there. I had a major surgery, an laminectomy. Maybe that anesthesia has got me out of the block.
Joshi, you have seen Indian banking through many different phases. You began in the era of manual ledgers, then saw the shift to computers, then anywhere banking, digital banking, where customers started doing many transactions on their own. And now we are entering the AI era. Before we talk about the future, I think our listeners would love to hear about that journey of change itself. When you look back, what stands out most to you? Any memories or stories from those phases that still stay with you?
Before becoming a banker, for almost 15 years, I was a customer. So that actually gave very good base to understand what is banking. Three, actually, in 1978, I joined Air Force. And my first account was the recurring deposit account for 100 rupees with Lord Krishna Bank. Actually, that 100 rupees was a savings from my 205 rupees stipend or salary, whatever you call it. Then we started a savings bank account with State Bank of India. Initially, we were sending money through money orders. I don't know how many of the people listening will be knowing that. That gives a dual advantage. One is sharing the money and there is a small note where you can write few lines. After that, we opened our savings bank account. Then we used to demand drafts. But taking a demand draft those days, it used to take either one day or next day we used to get the TD. So much queue we have to take a leave and go for the TD. So that was a condition there. I heard in some places they had to bribe also. There were agents to get the TD. So that was the condition. Now from there I joined banking. There, that manual thing, I was from electronics and communication background. From a technical background, moving into a ledgers and papers. I was finding it very difficult to remember debit voucher, credit voucher. One was in red. One. So I kept a small red credit, yellow debit. So whenever I have doubt, I will just refer this. I started my banking career that way. Actually, then there came the ALPM, then computerization, then unions going against the computerization. A lot of hue and cry. I'm telling about 1993, 96 period. Then things started moving fast. People started understanding what is the use. Nobody's going to lose a job. People are going to get better jobs. I still remember when I was in State Bank of Travancore, Calcutta branch, for lifting that ledger, there was one sub-staff who will lift that ledger from the counter, hand it over to the accountant desk. I was feeling it very funny. Then what I did was I just joined both the desks. I was a clerk then. I told, sir, why don't we sit near and I myself can put it across to you. But the ledgers were heavy. That must have been the reason. But we saved one staff that day. And that staff we used for marketing. Those times in 1994-95, there was no such term as a marketing or a sales team. We started that way. And then we moved to the computer. Parallelly only I did my CAIB. I had that main plan in my mind. I should not be there for more than 4 years in State Bank. I will somehow come out. So fast track is after clear CAIB. The timing also was very, very correct. That LPG, liberalisation, privatization, globalization. New generation banks came. I moved out from State Bank, joined this new generation bank. Our Centurion Bank was the first bank to bring anywhere banking to India. The initial forming team, I was not there. I was there from the second branch. I still remember how difficult it was to sell one ATM card. People would think, how if we are putting money, will we get the money back? We had a drive-in ATM. I still remember one customer not getting money. He was trying to break open the ATM. And he had to pay around 80,000 rupees for damaging the ATM. But what I'm coming to is so much technology has moved in. Now we are not even moving anywhere. We are sitting at our home doing all transactions. Where one DD was taking 1 day, 2 days. Now there is no demand draft at all. Who's using demand draft? So the technology has taken, now the AI thing has come.
Yeah. That's interesting how people had a trouble understanding how an ATM can be used and how the money comes out of it. So Joshi, when I was reading 5 Uniforms, one thing that came out very strongly was your drive to learn, improve and push yourself forward. You also write quite openly about your own struggles with confidence and how you work through them. Today in India, we see many graduates who are unemployed or underemployed. At the same time, we also know that banks and other financial services companies continue to offer strong career opportunities for people who are serious and willing to prepare well. What would you like to say to such young graduates?
Sri, definitely graduation or qualification is just a ticket for you. It's like going for a movie. You're taking a ticket and going for the movie. The way, whether you're going to enjoy the movie or you're going to sleep over the movie, it's up to you. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I used to tell all our youngsters or elders also, please try doing new things. Use the tool which is with you. Now, if you want to make a greetings card, it's a matter of 2 minutes. How you give a good prompt to Nano, Banana, they will give you a beautiful picture. You don't have to buy any other app or anything else.
What's coming out clearly is that it's not because of lack of opportunities for these youngsters. Like I said, very often they are carrying the wrong picture of what a banking career also is. Let me come to one such misconception directly. Many youngsters seem to think of banking in two separate silos, operations on one side and sales on the other. What would you say to these young people who want their career only in what they call as banking operations?
Sri, actually, this banking operations and banking sales. The sales operations team is required if you don't have any business. Do you need a backup HR? Do you need any other team? Unless and until you generate business. See, I can, if I'm in a manufacturing industry, I can manufacture many items. But who will do the sales? It is a salesperson who is going and presenting the products. Then only the job comes from the operation. I'll cite you an example. I was having a review meeting of our general managers, agents and all in KSFE. So one of the person asked, sir, why the business, general manager business is paid highly than other people? A simple question. Both are general managers. Why that gentleman is paid more? I told, unless until he gets the business, what job you have? Even my payment is at stake.
Also, today in the banking industry, unlike a manufacturing company, these are financial products and these are all digital today. So the scope for the so-called operation work has also massively reduced.
And see, with AI coming in, there is no requirement of operations, main KYC, cyber crimes, all these things are taken care by AI. This is the same thing. My son is in this VLSI designing, director design engineer. He was telling in their last meeting, their bosses are asking why to have juniors in the line. All those Python program, all those things can be done by AI. So that is the situation across the board. But it is not bad. It is good. It is giving an opportunity for people to learn. The moment you start learning, and the opportunity is huge. That 10 to 5 job, all that is history.
Yep.
People are having still that thing in the mind. 10 to 5, Ram Singh by 2, then I come back home. See, that is not the thing. I used to attend all the initial training for the KSFE and whom we are taking. We used to have orientation training. Invariably, I told from Kasaragod to Trivandrum, any training I will be attending. I used to ask them, anyone want to become a manager? Anyone want to become a DG? Anyone want to become a MD? I was surprised. Hardly 1 or 2 people would have taken their hand. In connection with this, I will narrate. I am not trying to boast myself.
Sure.
In State Bank of Travancore, we had a 7-day training program. Our zonal manager, she spoke to us for 45 minutes. After that, he started asking each and every, what were you thinking when I was speaking? What is there in your mind? What you want to be after 5 years down? My answer to that question was, sir, I was not listening to you at all. I was just thinking of the day when I can sit like you and talk like you. That was my answer during that first training program in bank. And earlier question, I dropped it, that sales part.
Yeah.
Now, sales is a tough part. But The advantage in sales is it is only for that day. Once you close the business, over. So you can sleep peacefully every day. But operations, you have to be whether it's first time, what is that, FTNR, first time not right, FTR, first time right. You have to whether any error or auditor comes, these stress points are not there in sales. And sales, you are meeting people. You are not meeting ledgers or computer laptop screens.
Absolutely. Yep.
So the pleasure you get in that. I still remember customer. He used to, he's a doctor who retired from Kuwait, and after the war he came. So he wanted to paint his house. He told, will you be able to? He was considering me like his son. So he asked me whether will you be able to come with me for purchasing paint. I told, sir, no problem. So I was actually carrying the paint in Kalur, that near that stadium, for him. So it is not out of, I should do all these things. I still remember an ad by Bank Muscat when Centurion Bank put up Bank Muscat. There was an ad, a relationship manager taking the dog out in the morning. That was an ad given by Bank Muscat in those years. I mean, it should be somewhere in 2000 thing. So if we start everything taking on to our ego, our image, it's not. It is actually how we are going to get the relationship cemented for life. Banking, in my book also, one of the customers, general manager, he has written about that. It's a relationship for life.
Yeah.
That is so the enjoyable part of sales need to be highlighted to the youngsters. And whenever I was taking classes in MBA colleges, I used to highlight this factor. And I used to tell the principal of the college also, you need to make these people understand what is the value of sales in this world.
Absolutely. So you were mentioning about meeting different kinds of customers. Banking is one career. If you are into sales or into relationship business, you end up meeting a wide variety of customers all across. Meeting a farmer, meeting a doctor, a software engineer, a startup founder, a CEO, CFO, politicians, film stars, sports people. So I don't think there is any other career which can match. Probably the only thing that can come to my mind is medical services. You're a doctor, you can end up meeting different people. Right? So you're the financial doctor here.
Yeah, you are the financial doctor.
Correct.
Actually, both wealth management as well as this is both are like doctor.
Quite similar.
Similar.
Yeah. So, Joshi, another question that often comes up is about the starting salary. Now, we know banking can become a very rewarding career in terms of salary over time, once you have some experience and all that. But entry-level salaries may not always look very attractive. So, to a young person, when he compares it with other options. With your long experience, how do you think youngsters should think about this? That the starting salary is so low, why should I get into banking?
The starting salary is very low. I will not agree with that, because in the software industry, I still remember Wipro, Infosys during our times. I'm telling you, 90s. It was some 17,000 something, and they had to sign a bond also. And most of the time, these people are sitting on the bench. And I still remember a 11-year-old engineer, after still sitting in the bench only, salary was only 55,000. When
and then get worried about layoffs.
And the another thing is that initial stages we should not count on to salary. Let us count it as a stipend. If in Air Force I have 205 rupees per month for 12 months. My wife, who retired as a lieutenant colonel, her stipend was 55 rupees per month. But now, when we sit back now, we are getting after 15, we are getting lifelong pension, medical treatment, everything. And my wife also is getting a decent pension. And that is on the service side. When I joined Centurion Bank from State Bank, my salary was only per annum less than 1 lakh. Less than 1 lakh per annum in 1996. When I resigned in 2013, my salary was 48 lakhs. How many years it took for me?
Yep.
It
Yeah,
took,
so that so when you compound it on an annualized basis, this will be roughly in the range of 15 to 20% annual
15
growth.
Annual growth. Plus, you have the ESOPs. What gave me the confidence of resigning at the age of 53? It was because of this ESOPs. A decent amount of ESOPs I didn't take because I had to serve for another 4 more years.
So basically, if you get into a good career, you can make lots and lots of money over time. Don't look at your first salary itself as your goal.
The problem is that when we are at level 1, we start comparing with somebody who's at level 20. It is not that way. You have to go step by step, prepare yourself well. The challenge is how good you are getting ready for taking at the next position.
Yep.
When I was just 2 years old when I was given an option of a branch manager, third branch manager in Wellington Island branch. My super boss called me. You want to be? Immediately my response was, I am ready, sir. What he told was, let other 6 people who are senior to you, they were having much more service. Whether they are ready, if they are not ready, only you come. There was challenge in that branch that time. They were planning a shutdown. But none of them had the courage to take up. Then I took up that responsibility. I changed the strategy. I got an entry into the Navy. The entire salary account concept I only brought up.
Yeah.
It is how you prepare yourself, right time, right place. But you should be ready, confident enough to take it.
You just pointed out about somebody's willingness to move to a particular location or a branch or a particular responsibility, right? You worked across different sectors and lived in different parts of the country. But today we often see young people becoming very location bound. Now you started from a small town in Kerala and built a much wider journey for yourself. What goes through your mind when you see this mindset today of young people sticking on to their location and wanting a career there only?
Sri, you are taking me back around 59 years, 58 years back. I was 9 years old when I got selected to Sainik School, Karakoram. Only one school in Kerala. I was just 9. Many parents, similar people who were selected, did not send them for going away at that very tender age. Only 100 people get selected across India for state. Each state they have to take few people from outside those. So altogether, out of that, I am selected as a one. After all that written examinations, that gave me an opportunity to see what is there in Trivandrum, going alone from here up to Trivandrum, traveling by train and going with the friends. Though that homesickness part is there, I'm not telling that affection, parental care, all that aspects are there. But that gave me a confidence. So these things give you a immense opportunity to know and learn. And one anecdote I would like to use. After the Centurion Bank, HDFC Bank merger, there was a vacancy for circle head in Karnataka. Mr. Hari Vellur came to me. He asked me whether are you interested to move to Karnataka. My wife has just joined from retired from to premature retire and back to our home. My children are also on that growing stage, college. Engineering college. But the moment he asked, I told I am ready. See, experience and exposure is something different. I may have 15 or 20 years experience in banking. That I would have worked in only in Kerala. But if I worked in different locations, I get exposed to that market, different business lines, everything. That time, Bangalore was a growing city. So that was an opportunity. The moment he told me, he was also surprised. Why this very old fellow want to go to disturbing his family life? Good. But my goal was different.
So they said largely young people without any families. So somebody from, let's say, a location like Tumkur, which is hardly 50 to 100 kilometers from Bangalore, if he gets a bank job opportunity in Bangalore, he says, no, I am not interested. So that's the stage we are in today.
Here, the problem is that the comfort zone. No one wants to come out of the comfort zone.
Maybe it's also got to do with their ambition in life, as to they are quite happy with limited salary and no growth also is fine. When you ask them, they want money and growth, but in their own life, they don't work in that fashion.
Very.
Yeah. So another thing that struck me is you did mention a couple of times about CIB Part 1 and that you cleared Part 1 in your first attempt. And you are very proud of that. That says something about the seriousness with which you approached domain learning as such. But how do you look at this today? Do people value domain knowledge enough currently? And does it still matter as much as it did earlier? What do you think?
Actually, I was telling 3% of the people only will be interested in learning. When I was in State Bank of Travancore, Calcutta, the CIB examination, how I approached, I started reading the bankers' journals. Normally, these journals are subscribed in all the branches, and they are used for afternoon lunch and all that stuff. I started collecting all. Then there was a credit policy that twice it used to get published, the entire thing in the paper. That I used to read while traveling from weekend. I used to come home around 6 hours, 7 hours journey. I used to read those credit policy while in travel. Google knowledge, it will be, that skin deep. In depth, if we want to analyze and give a solution to a customer, you have the people respect you for your knowledge, whether it is in this field or whether it is in you are a chemist in Apollo Tides factory. People respect you for that. Anywhere, unless and until you have a domain knowledge, no one is going to give you respect, and you will not be able to do well in your profession. So, a doctor, it's a classic example. If whom we approach, we search in Google and see who is the best. Then we ask our friends and all those things. We use all those aspects. Then only we go. No, we don't rush in for a surgery, which is around 6 hours, just to a doctor who is not confident of himself. That during the interaction itself, we will come to know. Because I had my experience for my laminectomy surgery. Because initially, in one of the hospitals, I didn't have the confidence to give myself to them. But here, I was having the confidence.
So, I have also known you, Joshi, as someone who connects very well with people and takes real effort to motivate the team members. What can today's middle managers do better when it comes to leading teams? And what advice would you give on grooming youngsters and helping them grow?
That requires patience, actually. See, everyone may not be so talented or this thing. Different people will be in different levels. You would have seen the movie Chak De. See, that movie actually brings out how a coach or a mentor should be. As a branch manager, you have to be a mentor, you have to be a motivator, and you have to keep training the people. Now, I was called as a ringmaster, nicknamed by my seniors, or in my book also I have mentioned. Now, what does a ringmaster do? In circus, the ringmaster actually is not hitting the whip on the lion or other. He understands each and every animal's behavior. We, as a coach, we should understand each and every individual's potential, groom them accordingly, give them the confidence. Some may be good at sales, some may be good at handling customers in the branch. So we have to give them the confidence. I still remember in Irinyalapada branch, morning I had gone there for a briefing as a cluster head or circle head. Then I was just telling the people, we have to find any sources from newspapers and all this stuff. Then one of the sweepers who was listening there, she came up and told, sir, why don't we look at that obituaries in the newspaper? These obituaries actually, I also start thinking, yes, obituaries are actually paid. So the normal one page is there, the other one paid. So those customers are definitely rich and suitable for our thing. Then we started an exercise that way. I told her, okay, that's a good idea. Why don't we start looking at that? Our security guard in Thrissur Road branch, he will look at the high-end cars when it is coming. ICICI Bank was opposite. Our bank was on the other side. When someone came, he wanted to deposit a check in ICICI Bank. And immediately the security guard came inside and said, sir, we want to transfer the check. Then I went and met him, took him here, opened his account, put his check in this account, and got his money. So each individual has the potential. Only thing how we can get it from them depends upon your relationship and their confidence in them. So that is something as a branch manager we have to develop. So one incident was that it was Marty's annual closing. You know how stressful it is there. Like there was a meeting before annual closing 1 month or something. Then the country head was telling Kerala is behind and told, sir, don't pay me salary if we are not achieving the target. So I flew from Bangalore to Cochin. There I held a meeting. I told, this is a commitment I have given that I will not take any salary in case if Kerala is not achieving the target. I was confident my team will do that. So we did that, and it's that way. See, we have to.
Yeah. So, and one place, where a manager's influence and your professionalism becomes very visible is in the way customers are handled when something goes wrong. Now, you as an individual, Joshi, always taken special pride in your work in the customer grievance management, the banking ombudsman part, and all that. Why do you think handling customer complaints is such an important part of banking?
See, who comes with a complaint? Who goes without saying anything? Someone who likes your organization only will come back and tell, that's the fault. Why don't you get it corrected? It's actually a second chance for you to meet a customer. The moment you clear his problem, nothing like it, he will never go away from you. So I remember in Koramangala branch, early morning, just the branch open, one gentleman was shouting at the branch operations head. Then I came down and asked him, why, what happened? And he told this is a thing. Then his operations manager came and told him that there was he's an IT fellow. He was coming and shouting all that stuff. Right? I asked him, is there anyone waking up in the morning and telling after brushing the teeth, I will go and fight with the branch manager or someone in Coromandel branch? I took the person inside, gave him a glass of water. I understood his problem. The resolution was there. It's a simple thing which could be done. Now, I remember, I see when you go to Reserve Bank of India, that time you will find front row is by AGM. Second, another clerk or officer, then the clerk. Actually, customer is attended by the AGM. So he gets an immediate solution for it. I tried this thing in one of my branches. I kept the seniors at the front. What is our trend? we'll keep all juniors in the front line. When the customer comes and speak to them, they will not be able to, because they would have just come one day before or one day after. There were objections. They were telling, oh, you will make us a security guard afterwards. I told it's not that way. It is actually, we have to resolve our customer complaint. Because I was a customer for 15 years. I know the pains which I had to face in various banking halls. So definitely customers complain as a grievances management. I got 3 times appreciation letter from Reserve Bank of India, Banking Ombudsman Karnataka. When I resigned and moved out of Bangalore, he gave me a lunch also, appreciating my efforts there. There the solution was only here, whether it is midnight, early morning, because I just tried to put myself in the show. Some credit card is lost. Something has happened, petrol pump, somebody has removed his card and data. So solution is immediate. I call up the 24/7 and block the card and safeguard the customer. I put myself in, that was the only thing I used to do. But sometimes customers also will shout at you. My father was in a major surgery. I was outside OT. I took the call because I never give the call. I took the call. He told, no, what concern I have got? Your father may be on surgery. My problem has been solved. Those type of things also will happen. But we have to be patient and find a solution. And or see, this is basically a lot of delegations, channels are there in each bank. Only thing we are not utilizing it. The relationship with the channel heads also helps us in a big way. It was actually, I enjoyed the 3 years stint in Bangalore handling the grievances management. And that grievances management was one of our main arm of business in Centurion Fintech. We could save a lot of money for our clients, penal interest and all those things.
That's interesting because the next thing I wanted to ask you is how should bankers basically balance business growth, customer service, and compliance together? Why do these 3 often seem to be in tension with each other for many of us?
You just imagine a tripod. 3 legs are there. If one leg is short, what happens? Still goes. So we have to have a balancing act with the business, the service, and the compliance. You would have seen how many banks have failed because of the ethical or compliance issues. So, business targets are targets that need to be achieved come what may. So, sometimes you will be pushed to the wall, sometimes you will feel so much annoyed with your bosses. It can be taken in the other way also. Those bosses have given you the strength to. I was a tough boss, but I was an approachable boss, and though demanding, I was approachable. So I have felt that as recently we had a 30 years get together of Centurion Bank people. So they were narrating how tough I was. But later on, when they went to different places, when they were super performers there, they all remembered my efforts here. And that is actually brings a happiness in me. So that's the way.
So that balance has become even more important today because banking is now being reshaped not only by the business pressure but also by digital, fintech, and now even AI. Now AI agents can now become your relationship manager because your own agents will understand your expectations better and will suggest you the best solution. Now, if you are a relationship manager in a bank working today, if you have to be ahead of that game, you need to learn how to use these AI tools better, and you need to be one step ahead of whatever that tool can do otherwise. Right, so maybe that much more importance to that domain knowledge stuff that we discussed a little while back.
Yeah, sure. And see, banking is a business of trust. Trust is very, very critical in banking. That human element should not go. They are not robots. Robots cannot think. When you are a cancer patient, when somebody hugs you, doctor says, "Don't worry, you'll be all right. You get 1,000 times motivated. So that factor is very true as a banker also, where you need to support those.
So, Joshi, that brings us to a question which I suspect many of our listeners would be thinking about when they read your book. Your life has taken you through very different roles: airman, banker, farmer, trainer, motivator, entrepreneur, and now an author. If you had the chance to redesign your life, would banking still remain one of your uniforms?
That's an interesting question. Absolutely. It will be, because see, banking gives you a different perspective altogether. In Air Force, your objective is to safeguard your country. Country first, service second, and you personally, your third. Definitely, I will adorn the uniform of banker, because here banker gets a huge opportunity, whether you're in NPFC or any other insurance or whatever you call it. That gives you an opportunity to understand the person, understand the need of the person, help them. It is as a banker, you are able to help so many people, whether in the form of loan. Sometimes I used to tell, don't take loan, because that's advice we can give. But you can guide youngsters. You start a term insurance. Never try insurance as investment. Take insurance as insurance. Mutual funds, opportunity, SIPs. Markets are down now. This is the right time. We have to educate them.
So basically, you would recommend banking as a strong career option to anybody out there listening to us.
Sure. Banking, whether it is banking industry, non-banking finance companies, insurance companies, BFSI sector, it is like a medical field. That is the best sector. You have to just become a trust officer. People should trust you. But I used to tell, life is not easy. That is true for all the professions, not only in banking, but the way you look at it, that definitely it's an enjoyable profession.
So let me close with something a little different. Now, if you were the host of this podcast, what is that one question you would most like to ask today's guest, a certain Joshi Paul?
Okay. I would ask, Joshi, you have spent a lifetime mastering the uniform, from the rigid discipline of Indian Air Force to the corporate structure of Centurion Bank, HDFC Bank, KSFE, or a public sector, PSU, KSFE. In an age where AI can predict everything, how we can keep the empathy factor alive in our institutions. When I resigned from HDFC Bank, spent time in farming, then moved in NPSC, then as an HR. But when the final interview for the KSFE managing director post, Chief Minister asked me, will you be able to manage people? Then my strength was managing the Lord Krishna Bank and Centurion merger. Then as a ADFC HR Kerala head. Business, actually, he was not concerned. He told me, I'm not concerned about the business. I'm concerned about managing people. There are 4 major units, another 4 smaller units. But I'm really happy that my stint was for 1 year. I had served under UDF as well as for 3 months, NPF almost 8 to 9 months. So it was a great experience. It's a different type of experience. So you get out and the strikes and all that stuff. But that's all. Now you sit back, you just cherish that.
Okay. So, Joshi, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a very rich and thoughtful conversation on how banking is changing, what it takes to build a meaningful career in this sector, and why trust, adaptability, and continuous learning matters so much. To our listeners, thank you for joining us for this inaugural edition of Banking Reframed. If you found this conversation useful, do share it with friends, colleagues, and aspiring bankers who may benefit from it. Thank you for listening and stay connected with me and Bixi for more on Banking Reframed. Until we meet again, this is your host Srikumar Nair signing off. Thank you once again.